What's going on, y'all? We're back out here working on the Tahoe again today. Starting to do some things on the vehicle. It's been a couple days since I made the last video and posted it up. I've been cleaning up my garage, which as you can tell, there's still a lot of stuff in here. I've got doors because I did replace the doors. The windows were all like jacked up in these. All the stuff in there was jacked up. So as you can see, I still have a lot to do as far as all my tools and stuff, but I've just been trying to tidy up the shop and things like that. But anyway, what we're doing today, I'm going to go ahead and get the big 3 knocked out on this Tahoe. I've got some old cables out of my old Suburban. They're kind of grody looking, but it's nice 2/0 OFC. And as you can see, everything was soldered in and has heat shrink on it. So these are still really good runs of 2/0 OFC, so there's no reason not to reuse them. I may take some rubbing alcohol and clean them up, make them look pretty again. But for now, we're just going to install them. So I've got a few runs of that, and it looks like that's probably my old big 3 cables off of my last Suburban that I had, my last audio build. So these have been kind of just sitting around for a few years, waiting to go back in a vehicle. So we're going to get those terminated. The one end, I don't remember if I cut them or what, but the one ends are not terminated. So I'm going to have to re-terminate those. And after we get those re-terminated, we're going to throw those in the vehicle. I'm not really going to show a lot of me actually installing that, because if you need to know how to do a big 3 on a Tahoe, there's 1,001 videos on YouTube showing you. But for anybody who doesn't know, the big 3 just upgrades your factory connections pretty much. So it's going to be alternator, positive stud to battery, and then we're going to go from the alternator bracket, or it's the alternator itself's ground, to the frame, and we're going to go from the engine block to the frame. I'm just going to find a nice spot over here and throw a bolt in there and bolt them to the frame. But yeah, just be sure you get a nice sanded surface and put them on there and paint them with some black paint or some kind of sealant. That way they don't corrode. So anyway, we're going to get started on that, and yeah, let's get this done. Alrighty, we had a brief interlude there because it started pouring down rain, and I already had the battery off the Tahoe, and so I couldn't pull it forward into the garage so I could keep working. But we took a brief little break there. We're going to get back to it. I have been playing with this new crimping tool that I got on Amazon. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like 40 bucks, and you get this and the cutters, which is really nice because I needed a new set of cutters. My old one's rusted. So anyway, we're just continuing on with this big 3 here. I've been doing some crimp points, and I'm now going to sand down the frame with a little sandpaper, and I drilled a hole and tapped it, and I have a bolt to go in it. There's our bolt. And yeah, so I'm going to get this sanded down and get that mounted to the frame. I just wanted to show a little excerpt of kind of the crimps that little cheap tool does there. It's kind of odd. You actually have to use the 1/0 die size for a 2/0 connection, but I mean, that is definitely, I took a pair of pliers while ago and grabbed it and yanked on it just to make sure it wasn't going to come off, but that is not going anywhere. So yeah, it's got a nice little crimp there. The lugs come with some heat shrink, so we're just going to put our little heat shrink on right there, and we'll just take our heat gun and heat shrink it up. Alright, there you go. That is a firm connection. This is the alternator positive to whatever I'm going to put up here. I haven't quite decided what I want up here because that is a very small little spot, and I'm not sure what's under this. I haven't really pulled this off to look and see what's underneath this, but I know it's probably something not very movable. I would love to have a big AGM up here, but it's just one of those deals where a big AGM's not going to fit. So I'm thinking about getting a capacitor, some Maxwell capacitors, and put up here for my in the starting battery spot. That's what I had on my Suburban. That seemed to really, really stabilize my voltage. And then for now, I've already got AGMs, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and run AGMs in the back for now until I can get lithium. Like I said, just having to do things as budget allows. And yeah, so there's under the hood. There's the old alternator. That's off my old Suburban. It's a CES 390 amp. That was when Jonathan Patrick was still there. I use Brand X now. I've used Brand X for everything since then, just because he's always done me really good, and he's always really good about answering questions and stuff. But yeah, this was the only thing when I got this Tahoe. This was the only thing charging right here. The fusible link was the only thing that was charging. But yeah, we've got the main alternator power going to run to whatever we end up running here. As you can see, I've already got my ground there running down to the frame down there. You can see it all painted black down there where I've got it to the frame. And then now we just have to take care of the frame to chassis ground. I kind of traced the wire. It's right here, and it goes way back up underneath and attaches to the engine block down there. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that or not, that same mounting location for my upgraded motor to frame. So I'm thinking about just finding a bolt on the engine block somewhere and running right there to the frame, right by where I did my other one. So anyway, still have that to figure out. But once we get that done, we can start the fun stuff, which is all the runs to the back. I'll have to go back in. My hair's still crazy because, like I said, you'd have to feel the humidity out here today. It's literally like 98, 99 degrees. Heat index is like 106, 107, and I don't know, 100% humidity. But anyway, so I'm going to get this big 3 finished up. That way we can start the fun wiring, which is running everything to the back. And then, yeah, then it'll just be getting the enclosure and starting to collect plywood. Lots of plywood. About 18 sheets is what we think. So, anyway. Okay. Ugh. The big 3 is officially done. Like, officially done. My dumb butt has been so long since I've ran a big 3 that I forgot completely that the alternator ground off of the alternator bracket runs over to your battery in the front, not the chassis. So anyway, that's done with now, but I moved it. So we've got the chassis, or the alternator bracket ground, running all the way over to that. Then we've got the alternator positive stud running over to this little block. And then we've got that pain in the butt one that's way back underneath there, running down to the chassis right there. And that should complete the big 3. Now we got to do our long runs to the back. Alright guys, it's really late. I was going to give you more updates on exactly what I was doing. But yeah, I just kind of got into it, and I'm going to be honest with you, I just kind of went. What I ended up doing was running a dedicated 2-watt power and ground. I'm not even really sure what this is going to look like. But I attached to the alternator and then from the alt bracket, and basically just went down the frame rail on this side of the vehicle, on the driver's side of the vehicle. And then I was going to come all the way back here. I'll show y'all. Because I found a spot back here, tucked back up in that. You can see where I drew in the dust there. And was going to cut an access panel there. And I have a way that I make my own access panels. I just cut a piece of aluminum and then I put grommets in it. It just looks cleaner and nicer, and that's just the way I've always done it. But anyway, I know they make the little round, like, hose things that you can use, like the through body hose grommets, but that's just how I've always done it. Anyway, long story longer, I ended up coming out over there because my enclosure's only going 49 inches from wheel well to wheel well, and so I'm gonna have actually like a little bit of space right here. And so that's where I'm going to run the wires. If you can't tell, these wires are really dirty because they used to be under a vehicle for like 3 years. But yeah, it's still all good. 2-watt OFC. You can see I had probably some janky stuff going there. I think I actually tapped that for a voltage sensor, but still good. We'll polish the copper back up, and like I said, all these are soldered joints, so they're absolutely just like fine. I actually cut one of them off earlier just to make sure, and the copper was still just as shiny as ever up in that. So yeah, we'll probably get the old electrical tape off there and put some nice sky high heat shrink on there. But that's basically all we got done today. Is I'll show you where I ran. I wished I'd have got a video of it when I still had the carpet up, but it's basically right there by the rear driver door. There was a nice spot right there to cut my little access panel, and then I just ran it up through the carpet. And for now, temporarily back here, at least I can hook a battery to it again and get it moving again. That was the main goal for tonight, is make it where it can move. But you're not going to see any of that area anyway. I mean, this is all going to be enclosure, and then this is basically all going to be space under the enclosure right here. So I just thought that was just as good of a spot to come out. And the reason I didn't want to keep running under the vehicle and then come up here is because right here is where the rear axle is, and you have to run through all this suspension or run over the top of it. And frankly, it's just a really big pain to route these wires where it doesn't rub on anything when the suspension's moving. So I just skipped it entirely. But my enclosure is actually going to come back to about right here. This is 55 inches right here. So yeah, that would have been a good spot, but this works just as well. So there it is, you guys. That's about it for tonight. I've sweat to death literally all day long working on this, on and off. Take it out as long as I can, and then I'll go inside and cool off and then come back out. I've drank 8 bottles of water and 2 Gatorades, and I think I've peed once today. So I probably need to go inside and rest for a little while. But that is the wiring done as far as power, ground, big 3. I'm going to go ahead and run some RCAs, and I'm probably going to go ahead and run speaker wire to the front. That way I can tuck it up under the panels, because once I get the box in, one, it's going to make that a lot harder to run. I still haven't figured out if I'm going to run the mids and highs halfway back, or if I'm just going to put the mids and highs all the way back at the battery bank. That usually just makes it easier, since I'm just running one set of RCAs, and I'm just going to split off that set of RCAs. And then I have a DSP that everything will run through as far as each separate amp. I'll run it through the DSP. But it's still in the planning phases. I'm still just trying to decide what I'm going to do. I'll probably go ahead and run the mids and highs right there halfway through the vehicle at the rear doors, and just run speaker wires from there to the front speakers. But yeah, it'll make it easier running everything now before the wall's in, and definitely before it's sealed off, because I'll want to get it sealed before this show that I want to make, Wake the Dead, October 18th. That's what all the big push is for, and that's why I'm in a big hurry to get everything playing. So still waiting on recones. Haven't heard anything about those yet, but we're still waiting, and I'll give an update when there's an update. I think I'm down to pretty much, besides running like speaker wires for the front speakers and RCAs, I mean, I think we're down to just building the enclosure. So I may go pick up some plywood and start on it, just maybe get a start and see where we go. I was going to build it out of the vehicle because it's technically a slide-in wall. You know, you can build it out and slide it in the back, but I don't think I'm going to build it outside. After looking at everything, I think I'm going to go ahead and just do this in the vehicle. It'll be a lot more of a pain in some areas, especially like the angled top pieces and all that. But frankly, I just think it's going to be better in the long run. But oh yeah, we still got to do wood roof up front too. But I can't decide what order I want to do that. If I want to do wood roof, because I'm not doing it all the way back. I'm only going to do it in the front cab portion. And I mean, I'm only going to do it to where the box comes up to, or just past to where the box comes up to, because I don't really see any reason to deaden all this back here. I mean, the pressure is going to be up there, so why waste more wood and time? And I'll probably have enough room if I ever want to go back and do it. I'll probably have enough room where I could do it back here, but I don't see any reason to have to. So yeah, we're going to do that. We have to wood the front roof. We have to run the rest of the miscellaneous wires, and then we have to build the box. And then it'll start all the finished work, painting and sealing and all that stuff. But anyway, we'll see you guys soon.